Let's first get into what we see in play with sentiment in the market today.
Well, for today, we have a more stable market today. We saw the banking sector stocks trying to make a move in the upward direction. We saw GT Bank, Limited 5 Kobo, Zenith Bank 10 Kobo, Access Bank, I think about 15 Kobo. And I think we didn't see much of a loss from that particular sector. I think what actually, what transpired again in other sectors today is Guinness losing and also Lafarge Africa. But I think for today, we have a more a stable market, and the trading was at least much better than what we saw yesterday when MTN and Dangote Cement actually dragged down the market.
How are you filtering that news about Zenith Bank and Access Bank, especially interest to acquire Union Bank, and how is this filtering into the markets?
Well, I think to the market it is with a lot of mixed reactions. For me, as a person, we've all experienced Access Bank having an aggressive acquisition across Africa, and I think they've had much acquisition, too many at a time. That is where we put it, and I think they should rather slow down and consolidate on what they have already. And going to the side of Zenith Bank, Zenith Bank since inception has not acquired any bank or merged with any bank. And I think if they are looking through and seeing that there is good value in Union Bank, I believe it's a good thing for them to start with, and I think it will definitely strengthen them and reposition them strongly as the first and number one bank in Nigeria. As the number one bank in Nigeria. So I think for what is happening, investors are going to take it one way or the other. If Zenith, it goes the ways of Zenith, I definitely see a situation whereby Zenith will be pricing much higher than GT Bank steadily. And if it goes in the way of Access, investors may have to think twice whether this really will add the kind of value that is expected because of the many acquisitions they've had over time.
To get a sense of what the first quarter earnings means to you for the banks.
Yes, I think to me it's very fantastic. A lot of them are actually showed good figures, and I think that is to consolidate what we saw in the auditor report for year 2020. And I think going forward, in spite of the terrible situation in the Nigerian economy, the banks are still making sway, and I think this has more to do with the with the way they dispense their services to to customers. And I think strongly going forward, we're going to see a much better economy with respect to the banking sector stock this year. But for the general economy, definitely not, it looks very, very dismal, and I think a lot has to be done. But for the results so far, I think we're going to see them being consolidated again in the second quarter.
Rotimi, let's get into the telco space, and I would like to get your thoughts as well on MTN's the completion of MTN's bond issuance.
Well, I think to me, I ask a question: do they really need it? But one thing we should know that at any day, investors will be ready to take up whatever MTN has to offer. So rather than the bond issuance, I think equity will have been more will have been a better acceptance, and also to strengthen their operations as well. But I think with what they have done, I believe they know what they are doing, and definitely they're going to get the better of it. So I see a much better performance for MTN going forward, and I believe investors will look in that direction and take more position.
Before I let you go, I just want to get your take on the pharmaceutical space, specifically GSK. What's your take on that company?
Well, with what we are hearing that the US is saying they may give the franchise or the right to manufacture the COVID-19 vaccines, and I believe GSK may be one of those ones that they'll be looking at. So I think for me, GSK is one healthcare sector stocks that is supposed to be that one can really look at, and I believe over the years they've come down significantly in their share price and performance. But I believe going forward, there are things that are definitely going to turn around for them. So I think investors should take a closer look at this, and I believe they won't have any regrets thereof.
All right, going into next week, Rotimi, I would like to get your outlook, especially for the month of May.
Well, I think concerning auditor report, we've seen it all. Concerning Q1 results, we've seen it all. So I think I can't really fathom anything that can drive the market as it were for now. But I think we're just going to have a level playing field for the market, whereby we are not seeing bearish or bullish trend taking over the order. So we're going to see mixed reactions, and I think we are not going nothing so aggressive, but we're just going to see a plain market that is lackluster in a lot of ways. So we won't see the bearish trend taking over or the bullish trend taking over. So maybe one gain today, another loss tomorrow. But at the end of it all, I think the market will be stable and steady.